Okay, so two announcements that I need to make today. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so the first one is that we need to now do the iteration one of our project. So by now you should have selected your teams. I have earlier sent the Excel sheet where you were supposed to put your names together, groups. I'm gonna look into that sheet again. Last time I saw there was one group which had 5 members. So I won't. We don't gonna have any group that has 5 members. So the max limit is 4. If you see the group is already has 4 members, then you need to join a group that has less than 4 members. Okay. So let me know if you have any issues in finding a group, and we can talk about that. So once you decided your group, next thing is to select your project. Now, how we gonna do the project selection? Thing is, we are doing KDM here, right? So it's knowledge discovery management. So mostly we are dealing with the text data, unstructured data. So what I want you to do is look into the site called Kaggle. I'm gonna type in the name here. Most of you will be familiar with it, but for those of you who are not, so I'm gonna put the name into the chat. Okay. So this side, what it does is it usually provides a challenge, provides a data set, and then people they submit their solution to it regarding that challenge, and then they select a winner and somehow like that. But what we are interested in this is data, right? A, they are providing some very good source of data. B, sometimes their projects are really good. So find something on Kaggle, and you don't have to do the same project because obviously the solution is most of the people would have provided solution for that thing, and most of these things are done. What you have to do is you have to customize that project to add something from your side. So let's say if a project is about I'm just making it up. If a project is about topic modeling, what else you can add on top of the topic modeling, right? What are you can visualize the results in a better way. You can do one step deeper, and you can see that what were the words in the topic, what were their associated queries or stuff like that. So whatever challenge you look into it, see if there is only select it if A, it is related to your to this class, to this course, and B, you can add something to it. Okay, because other than that, if not, then basically you're just giving me the same thing, and it's a copy paste of the project, and we don't want to see that. Keep in mind, project is I think almost 40% of your final grade. So give attention to it, put your efforts behind it, because grading will be. I will do the project grading, and I look into innovation. I look into the solution. I look into how you handle that problem. I look into how you present that problem and all these things. The first step will be is to select a project. Select obviously that project will come with the data, so you will have a data, and tell me what are you adding, what specifically are you adding to that project, and you as a team has to submit your report. The first report will be just telling me a link to the Kaggle competition, that this is the project that we have selected, this is the data set that we have selected, and this is how we are modifying it to do something new on this project, and you have to submit that. This is and you have to tell me as a story, right? So we're going to be using OSL AI. Actually, let me see if I can open that website quick. So we're gonna be using this website to submit our. So we're gonna be using this website to, and you're gonna be by the end of this whole project thing, you will be submitting. Uh, you will be. It says register your project, so we'll be registering your project here, and you will be submitting your project material here. So it has few steps. The first one is storytelling, okay, and we're gonna go on this. Basically, you have to click here. You have to pick. There are like uh, different classes and different courses. These were some of my last semester. I taught this course, and these were some of the projects that were submitted. You can look into those. But basically, it tells you the first part is storytelling part. Okay? So storytelling is you look into a real world problem. So you describe it in terms of story, right? This will be our first iteration. So you look into the story, you see what is the use case, right? What is this problem about? Who are the people impacted? Um, there must be some video associated with it. So basically, in storytelling, you are answering few questions, right? What is like, what is your use case? Who are the impacted people? How you think you can provide a solution to those? So what is the problem? Who are the people who are facing that problem? And how your solution will solve this problem, and so far. So as kind of like real world project. So this is basically this exercise helps you narrow down the scope of your project, right? Sometimes we start with something very big, but later on we figure it out that it's too big, or it's like not in the scope, or there's so many other things. So storytelling approach kind of like it tries to like to narrow down those paths, and it tries to keep you focused on exactly what are you trying to or in exact word which problem you're trying to solve. So that's why we're going to be using this. Okay, your most of your submission will be here, and also we're going to have some simple canvas submission where you're going to telling me what was the use case that you picked from the from the kaggle, and what you added on top of that. So basically, the good thing here is that once your project is here, you can put that on your resume, right? Or you can show it to anyone. You can just point them to this website and tell them, hey, go to this website, go under this class tab, and this is my project, because your name will be associated with your project. For example, whoever submitted project last semester, it is right here. So any questions so far? Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to ask, are we going to have like a project guideline, or do you want us to just go based off of the guidelines from this website?
I'm sorry, your voice in the start was very low. Can you repeat your question?
I was asking that, are we going to?
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was asking that, are you gonna give us like a project guideline, or do we just go based off of what is on the website here?
So project guidelines is here, right? Storytelling gonna tell you what are the five. Uh, so if you look into the, I'm gonna share a small document with you as well. But to upload the stories, just there are some five questions that you need to answer. So look into this part here. So you can use this five W's.
Thank you for registering on Open Collaborative Experiential Learning. You have been provided with a template to add your project.
I'm sorry, I think.
OCL has 5-step format to
So you
publish
see, there is
your
a video
project.
here. I don't know if you're able to hear the voice. But that tells you, and also, so you see, storyteller, enter your name, choose your university, define your scope, what is your main story, who are the characters or people in the main story, category, what happens, where, when, why, and how. Okay, and then these are some optionals, some other questions if you can answer, if that is applicable to your project. And then all you have to do is just submit. And then we're going to have a canvas submission. Canvas submission is basically you're providing me the links. That this is the kaggle link that we used for our project, and this is what the project is saying, and this is what we are adding to the top of the project, and your team credentials, that who, how many members your team have, and what are their names, and so on. Okay,
Thank you.
did that answer?
Yes,
Yeah,
Professor.
sure.
Thank you.
And keep in mind, we're gonna go step by step, right? The first part is storytelling, where you just select your project. The second part is now the data, right? Which kind of data you're
Thank you for registering on Open Collaborative Experiential
I'm
Learning.
sorry.
You have been provided with a template to add your project.
Okay. The second part is where you're gonna tell me about the data, right? So mostly like what are the attributes in data, how So your data analysis thing, right? How you're going to use their data. Is there any restrictive attribute, for example, any attribute that indicates some personal information like age, gender, or sex? Are you going to be using that in a modeling or not? These kind of things. The third one is obviously you're going to do your modeling and you're going to bring up your results. And the very last part is the ethics, where you are saying that if there's any ethical issues with your solution or not. So we're gonna go step by step. Let's say first let's focus on storytelling approach. I can also try to share some more guidelines with you, but just start looking for projects from today. Okay, don't wait till the very last. Make sure your project is very good. Make sure if you are 4 people, you are adding some good amount of work on it. Just don't give me a simple that okay we're gonna be just doing topic modeling and that's it. uh, Add more visualization to your project, right? How you visually presents your result, that matters a lot. For example, I will just share my little experience as a data scientist when I was working in National before doing my research. I was given a task of topic modeling, and I produced topic modeling, and I produced some basic results with some very simple visualization. But the problem was the team that I was presenting those results to was a product team, so they were mostly non-technical people. They were not statisticians to to look into those results and find out what is going on. So I had to create some custom visualization. I was asked to create some custom visualization for them to work on, and then this is how we worked on. And then I created some custom visualization so that they can easily look into it and they can tell okay what is going on. So think about these aspects, right? So who will be using your application and what kind of understanding they're gonna have for your solution. Don't expect that your users will know everything. You need to provide some good visualization, some good logic to the model. So overall, it has to be a very good quality model. And you can look into few some of the more projects that are already submitted on this website to get some ideas of how people have done it in the past. Okay. Any question on this project so far?
So, Professor, what will be the deadline for the storytelling part submission?
Very good question. So deadline will be, I think, the first week of March.
Okay.
We will keep somewhere March 4th, I believe.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And okay, what next is now? Beside this, we also talked about journal club presentation, right? Where you as your team gonna pick a paper and you guys gonna present that paper in class. Okay, so that's a journal club presentation. We gonna be so make sure you pick your paper from the top notch conferences, or journals in the area of NLP, natural language processing, or related to somehow to this textual data. Select When you're selecting paper, make sure you select a paper that is not more than 2 years old. So select somewhere from 2020 or 2019. Okay, don't go for the older papers. Go for the newer papers. Bring in some it could be application paper that someone has developed some good application on textual data, and you can select that, but you have to present that paper. Now what I mean by presenting that paper is you're going to create a PowerPoint presentation which going to talk about each section of that paper. So usually a paper uh, has an abstract, an introduction, literature review, architectural, experimentation part, result part. So you have to explain each of those parts into your website, into your PowerPoint presentation. And once you're going to present this paper, I'm going to be asking you questions, regarding that paper, to see your technical understanding of that paper. Did you understand that paper a lot or not? For example, why did they receive these results, or what is the what is the weaknesses of their approach, or what is novelty of their approach? So questions like these, to see if you have understood their work or not. So select some paper. I can also share uh, some conferences and journals link for you, so you can go into those conferences and journals, and you can look for those papers. In the area of NLP and text, you can look for the papers, And I think we're gonna then, once this is done, you all gonna submit your PowerPoint presentation somewhere in the second week of March. And then after that, we're gonna have next 2 weeks. Each group will be presenting their project during the class time. Okay. Any question on that?
Yes, sir. I'm just wondering. So every student he gonna present a paper, or the group they gonna submit that paper and present together?
Very good question. So the group will will split the paper, and each student within that group will be talking about certain sections, right? So you will decide the workload in between you. What I don't want to see is that one student from the whole group is just talking, and he's presenting, and the others are not, because you will be graded individually on this exercise. So for journal club presentation, even though it's a group assignment, you're gonna select a paper as a group and you're gonna present it as a group, but you will be individually graded. By that, what I mean is, before starting your presentation, you're gonna tell me that what are your group contributions. So who did what? For example, someone took introduction and literature review, someone did the architecture, someone is talking about results. So these kind of parts. And that's why when I'm going to ask the question, I'm going to ask questions from individual that, hey, can you please explain this, or can you explain this part? So each question will be, for each individual, there will be a question.
Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Any other question?
Yeah, is the research paper bit supposed to be related to the Kaggle stuff, or
No.
are they separate?
Research paper should has the Kaggle is just for the competition, right? So research paper should be related to NLP techniques and something in the text domain. There's so much happening in text domain, right? Some new techniques are coming, some new tools are coming. So anything related to NLP or text will be acceptable from a high conference or journal. But the research paper should not be more than 2 years old. The reason is because these technologies are advancing so fast. So if you're talking about a paper in 2015 or 17, maybe there is a better version, of that methodology or technique that they were talking about then is already available now. And why not we just look into the updated version of that?
Makes sense.
Sure,
Thanks.
no problem. And I will try to share some conferences and journals, but you have to go inside those conferences and journals and find those papers. Sometimes it's hard to access those conference or journals because they require subscription. But the easy way to work out is that if you connect through your UMKC VPN, then most of these conferences and journals they have provided access to UMKC. So if you do the VPN connection through UMKC network, then you can easily access those conferences and journals. Okay. One other restriction is that paper shouldn't be from archive at all. There is a archive where anyone can go and submit their paper and it get accepted. The paper has to be a published paper in a good conference or journal. Means it's thoroughly reviewed by the scientific community, and they have agreed that the paper has a novelty in it and has some acceptable criteria, has met some acceptable criteria. Okay, any other question on this? So I'm gonna send this all information in an announcement as well, so that but I just wanted to discuss it with the class before sending the announcement. Okay, so today